you are hearing my voice, you are on LSD. Not the substance, maybe, I don't know. But you are on the Lonely Screen Delicatessen. Tonight, as always, it's me, the big ravioli, Andrew Rodriguez, and with me, my effervescent Asian co-host, Mike Noveloso. Tonight we've got Chris Howell with us, and we've got Reggae Lou and Mr. Pete with the beat. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good.
Good. So we were talking already a bunch of shit, but one of the things I wanted to ask you guys is, the word now is that this month things are going to start opening up again. So we were talking in the state of Georgia and in northern Florida and potentially further south in Florida soon. What do you guys think about that? And are you guys excited? Do you feel like there's going to be movement in the music scene before like fall? What do you guys think?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I really hope that there's a lot of movement before the fall. There's so many cool places to play down here, and it's really hot. And supposedly COVID doesn't really work well in heat, so I'm hoping that's going to help Florida out.
Right.
That's going to help us. Because it's a totally different life now, as everybody knows, you know?
Yeah.
We're trying to take it day by day and just hope for the best.
You start off with a hot question.
Yeah.
Say again?
You start off with like a hot question, like, what?
We're not fucking around over here.
No messing around. Get to it.
Fucking coming at you with the Rogan questions. What's up?
Right.
Fucking.
I'm all about the safety, but I'm all about people go through, so I'm stuck.
Well, I know Mike is on the conspiracy game with this. Give it to me, Noveloso. What's up? What do you think? Yeah. Give me your take, man. Yeah.
They do that though, really.
And we already pretty much are. So.
Well, one thing I heard was that the ruling class, whatever you want to call it, some people call them the social elite, they believe that we can't compete in commerce unless we become more of a society like China's. And this is like the first nudge in the direction of a more global and communistic style of dictatorship, leadership, whatever you want to call it, to nudge us towards that way. They want to take away vehicle ownership and things like that. Property ownership will become more limited.
I feel like that stuff's already been kind of, that poison's already been spoon-fed to people for so long in consumer items that, as soon as I got my new phone service, got my new phone, trying to set me up with fingerprint and facial recognition, I cut all that shit off. But, I used the fingerprint on my laptop because, it's how you approve everything. But, they've already kind of like spoon-fed us that. I feel like so, there's a certain amount of like safety and security in that. And I think this whole thing with COVID kind of scaring people into, more e-com markets, people are buying online, staying at home and stuff. So with identity theft and stuff like that, probably going to incur from that. I feel like there's almost some securities that are about to get taken potentially in implementation of a new program that kind of aims to eliminate that to provide security for people and take their freedoms, basically.
And like when we talk about like losing freedom, like what? Because I can't imagine trying to. What do they want freedom-wise? Is it about information? What is it that they're looking for? What do you say? You know what I mean? Like who has an? Because I could. What do they want?
I'm just saying I see a potential outlet for corruption there. I don't really want to speak too specific. I don't really like.
I see Mike bubbling.
There's a lot of conspiracies going around on this, and I can see them. I can see them all being pretty likely. You know what I'm saying, or some version of some things. But I don't really have any one thing that I believe necessarily is coming out of this or anything. I'm kind of hoping to watch it unfold and read between the lines and filter the bullshit out. The media is just pumping bullshit out day by day.
Yes.
I saw an example. It was a couple weeks ago now, but like it had been a month away from a news reporting of the first exposure in the United States, and they were talking about how immediately how the United States is low risk. I was kind of almost calling bullshit because there's a lot of people in this country on prescription medications and stuff that suppress your immune system. All these both makes us more or less risk. And then you see it sweep across in exactly 1 month. I was sitting on the shitter actually, and I was like, hey, it's the same date. Like a month ago I saw this thing, and then I look, and the most recent article at the time was that we had now exceeded China, everywhere else, and we had
world champs
in central around New York alone.
Yeah.
So it was like in 1 month the media went from like this to this, and it's just, if anything, at what point and how short of a time span does it have to be that we notice that like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and we don't really need to confine in that. A lot of people, I think we mentioned on the last podcast, just negativity and ill mantras and shit just being sent into this echo chamber on Facebook and social media and stuff. And it's a bunch of misinformation, and it's just keeping people divided and foolish and kind of just away from where their head should be, I feel like. So,
yeah, I'm trying
if anything, it's just kind of crazy that
I'm trying.
Mike is trying to sow the seeds of discontent. Mike is eating string cheese and looking to ruffle feathers.
Yeah,
what do you think it's for, though, Mike? What do you think the fucking, you know what I mean, like the control measures are coming into place for? Because I saw you bubbling when Chris was talking about it.
It's a test, because actually the new tests that are coming out are showing that about like 70 to 80% of the population already had it. I'm sorry, not 70 to 80. Like almost the entire population of the United States already had it and were asymptomatic. Like 70 to 80 times the amount of people in the few towns where they've tested like 90% of the population.
Mm-hmm.
70 to 80 times the amount of people had it and didn't have any symptoms than the people that had it and had any symptoms at all. So, like, I'm trying to say, America, revolt against the government because they fucking lied to you. A bunch of you didn't need to lose your jobs or money, right? This was a test before they roll out the real whatever, virus or military state thing where they actually seize control. And
right, where they actually drop troops on the ground and shit.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, in the last stimulus package, there was a thing so the government can start our own cryptocurrency. And it's linked to the Fed. That's why the Fed's giving everybody money. They're like, here, take this like useless money. It's going to be 100% useless in like 100 days.
Well, I think that's part of what I was talking about. I think the new system is going to be doing away with tangible money. It's going to be credit-based, which has already been fed to us. Because, think about it. With this, the spread of germs and everything being the big fear with this thing, it's going to be easy. Like cash exchange is one of the biggest things. So it's like, and then too, it's not backed by gold, and it hasn't been for so long. It's just an inflated monopoly money. So
yeah, you're going to be like fucking doing Square for your.
People are already doing credit. I know it's more convenient for me. Like, I don't keep a lot of cash around, or I try not to. So, it's kind of already been, like I said, spoon-fed to us.
I stick $30 in pennies up my butt every day, and then I spend them every day. So, money's dirty.
It is.
But hey, you guys have probably handled my ass pennies.
That's disgusting.
Yep.
But like...
Credit as far as like borrowing money is something I gave up a long time ago, but I do have a bank that I will deposit money into and then use a card to use that in transactions, but I think it's the borrowing.
What?
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time.
You guys are very, very low.
Very faint.
Oh, where are we?
Are you really high?
I'm sure you're really high.
We're not low.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
A bit. Yeah, a bit better.
I can hear you fine, Lou. Pete's just like up and
Pete's
down.
super faint. Yeah, Pete sounds like he's in a tiny tin can somewhere.
But in comparison to you guys, it's...
I don't even understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know what he said.
I'm sorry. I just had him turn it down a little bit because it was super loud. But
that's better right there.
Yeah, Lou is audible.
I
Lou's
think-
kind of low, but he's
Lou has
audible.
always
Pete
been-
is
Yeah.
Pete's the one I can't
They
hear
can't
at all.
hear you. They can hear me.
Petey boy.
Pistol Pete.
You want to turn it just a little bit. Or because you can't turn yours up any higher, it's as high as you go. But just turn the main.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a lot of things. I mean, you know, there was a lot of stuff. I can't remember how long ago that was, man, but there was a lot of stuff about RFID chips and people, you know, and I remember seeing even some stuff in the news where they're advertising as a medical thing, and you know, some people were in outrage and all that, and so you know, I've even heard some theories that, you know, conspiracy theories, I guess you would say, that you know that's part of these tests is like get people in there in mass numbers to do this invasive thing,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
not even know that they're getting implanted, you know, but I mean, I don't know, something like that would have to be carried out
Have you
by
heard
the
the theory
officials
that,
administering it. I mean, there would be so much of a web of like knowledge of the
on like
malicious plan.
on
You
an
know what I mean?
international level, like locking down the planet and making everybody on the planet stay in
And
their
then-
house.
And then too, you made a good point. I mean, they have an excuse to basically infiltrate or bring the National Guard in and have them stationed in the city. So I mean, like, you know, at the turn of a switch.
well, they had National
They could
Guard
take
on the
control
ground
of-
by Dobbins, by Lockheed Martin. They had
Oh, yeah.
by the city, like National Guard, like set up, like
That's what
I saw
happened, man.
that
I went
shit
on
when I was
vacation
traveling
to
with
St.
the-
Augustine, and I came back, and I was hearing all that shit. And you know, right around here, Marietta is where I work, so I was, you know, I was a little concerned about that. I was like, wow, this has become the hub now.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot of cases in Cobb County, I think, right now.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of older people too.
Did you
Well,
see-
that's like the biggest. That's like one of the two biggest counties, and it's like very densely populated too. So
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of the numbers are skewed by that, or skewed versus other counties.
Did you also see like a bunch of states are just opening back up because like the protesting to open up has like gained a lot of steam. Like that
Yeah.
wasn't. So like that's why I'm like, yeah, let everybody just revolt because like it doesn't matter. Like peaceful protest is getting all the governors to roll over and just open up everything. Like they have no backbone. They're like, oh no, I can
Right.
get reelected. I guess we got to open up. That's it.
No politician has a fucking
No,
backbone.
it's,
They're all they're just the worst.
otherwise, they're going to overstep their boundaries. You know, all these peaceful protests will lead to them not overstepping their boundaries because they know if it goes further, it's not going to be little amounts of people crowding the streets. Like just in Michigan the other day, they filled the streets so much that like they just blocked everything out.
Check. Is this a thing?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear Pete better now, for sure.
Yeah.
PP now.
I'm from Michigan, and so I just left there like a week prior to that. And I'm not surprised that they lined up, but at the same time, it's the people that want other people to go to work for them. It's not the actual workers that are protesting.
No, it
So
is.
that's, I mean,
I'm sure it's a
not,
combination.
not really. Like, because they keep making like the, I want to go to my summer home, I want to go to Applebee's, I want to go to, you know, like all those jokes. But, like,
I
that's-
like the signs that say like I want to get a haircut. Those are pretty
These are
funny.
memes. I want to go to Applebee's, and like, it's like don't turn on these things. You know, like. He's not,
No, what like the news articles that are lying to you are probably the meme people, but like most of the people are like, hey man, like this stimulus check and this unemployment combined aren't enough to like support my family.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I've been
quite
to
lot
a
of
couple
people
of
who are
pretty
rare to
charming
get back to
Applebee's,
work.
and none of them were charming enough for me to protest over.
Right?
Just say that.
It was mostly like most of the people protesting are like, I need to support my family. And
Yeah, I got
say,
kids to
why
fucking
be-
put
why
food
be
in.
Peaceful at all? Just break the windows of your local storm in there, string up all your governors, and just take them out to the guillotines. It's literally time for guillotines again.
I really do think that's the only way we're going to see mass change in our government structure is by some heads going on pikes.
We've been in some pretty crazy little rallies, and me and this dude went to North Dakota, and we were involved in the DAPL system, and god damn, there was some serious shit going on there. And we
What's the DAPL system? Explain that.
Okay, so the DAPL is this group of conglomerates who basically suck oil from different places in the world.
Okay.
He went up to North Dakota and tried to take all the oil from native land, and the natives didn't want them to tap into the water because they were
The pipeline stuff.
ruining everything there, basically. Just coming and bulldozing and destroying the infrastructure and ruining the water and basically doing whatever they want because of money. And so there was a bunch of people there to try to stop them, peaceful protesters. And it,
You know the crazy thing is like I was watching something though that like the protesters and the guys that do that like they did like an equal amount of pollution. It was dumb. Like if neither of them were there, like no oil people and no protesters. So like basically if the oil guys weren't there, then like there would have been like that would have been pristine land. But like literally they were causing so much pollution that they brought so many protesters that it doubled the pollution of the people that were just like living on the land and dumping all of their shit everywhere, you know? Like it's crazy.
yeah, but I really think it was good for people to be there and see what was going on because it
Oh,
opened a
I'm
lot of
not
people's
saying what they were doing was wrong. I'm just saying like when you like live on a property like that for protest, like you're actually causing more damage as well. But like not
yeah.
it's not intentional
I mean,
damage
there
of
were
like the people
people
drilling oil, you know?
getting fed by like a few people. A few people were making food for 1,000 people. Everybody was accountable for their own space. Like everybody was taking care of everyone. Like it was a different type of world. And then when you come back to the concrete jungle that we all live in every day, that's like we were just talking about it today. Like there's concrete everywhere, but if you really look underneath that concrete, it was a jungle. And and now that there's no jungle and it's just this big system that's put in place, you have to follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules, you're going to be punished for that.
Also,
And
just to read that, there's no in
and we don't
there's no
control any
living
of
on
it.
any land that wasn't not. It was native that while we were there. It was
Well,
all
going on that vein, today being 420, prohibition of marijuana has been going since the 1930s, and it's now starting to turn over in the last few years. But like, you smoke a plant and you get put in a box, you get put in a cage. Like, there's no fucking better example of government, oversight, whatever you want to call it,
Control.
Oh yeah, just the ridiculousness and the audacity. Like we're shocked about like a pandemic could be a lie or whatever. Like that's not. They lie all the time. All you gotta do is like look in a history book. They just constantly fucking lie. Espionage is what it's called. Like they just lie to us on a fucking regular basis. They don't give a shit about the long term. The stuff comes out when people are either all dead or on their deathbed. They don't give a shit. You know what I mean? When it all becomes declassified. So it's like it's par for the course now. That's how they got us into Vietnam. I think we got into the Spanish-American War because of some bullshit.
Nobody's even against the legalization of marijuana anymore. It's like not
Nobody normal.
Republicans and
That's the
Democrats
thing
are
that's
all
silly.
against it. Like then who is it? It's
Like 75% of the population or more, at
Yeah.
this point. I mean, it's just kind of
75%
It's
now.
the
And it's
same
not
amount.
like the people that don't smoke it aren't like you shouldn't be able
it's
to smoke it. They're like, no, if this guy wants to smoke, he
but
should be able to drink. Like
or some of them are so scared at the fact that it's illegal,
It's
that it's just
so much moonshine.
stigmatic almost.
people that don't want legal marijuana are big pharma, alcohol sales, and tobacco sales because they know that they're all going to suffer from people smoking marijuana.
Just like I said,
Absolutely.
have I told you guys the story of like the 2016
I live
legalization of medical marijuana in Florida versus the
Go Mike. Go Mike.
2015? Like in 2016, the medical marijuana bill was up in Florida, right? But it didn't get enough votes, and it didn't get enough votes because this billionaire, this oil tycoon, put like a ridiculous amount of money into an anti legalization campaign, right? So he won, right? And then what he did was he built the first dispensary chain in Florida, and the largest grow house operation in Florida. And then he owns the three companies that are the only three companies in Florida that have a license to grow and dispense. And then right, so then
Never
in
smoked a joint.
2015 he put double the money into getting it passed. So now he is the monopoly of medical marijuana in Florida, and he stopped it in 2015. That's what it is. Like you said, it's money. The people that don't want it, they don't want it.
disgusting.
No? Did you hear that?
Okay.
He said disgusting.
Well, people with that kind of money are playing a totally different game. I feel like it's a whole different kind of consideration. Yeah, usually religious shit. Yeah. That dude's drug is money.
Taco Bell.
Well, we're really good at not giving a fuck. We're like the experts of that. Entertainment and like looking good, not giving a fuck. That's the
Well,
American way.
that's the thing is like that's kind of the mentality. I was actually just talking about having a conversation about this earlier about false senses of not only masculinity but patriotism, and those things usually kind of go hand in hand a lot of times.
Sure.
And it's just I don't know. It's just interesting. I mean, but it's a cultural thing. You know, it's like our Western world. You know, it's kind of like you know. I don't know. It's kind of like when you're in school, like, oh, if you're intelligent, if you're, involved in these kind of things, well, you're a dork, you're this or that or the other. It's like you got to be. It's kind of like you're glorified for being like a dumb athlete or like a dumb. You know what I mean? There's like a false sense to that, and a lot of times those people tend to be the most hollow or have the most void. You know what I'm saying?
And growing up around a lot of Cuban kids, like you said, the term
Compensating.
cultural, like. You talk a certain way, or you like read books. It's like, yo, why are you trying to act white? It's just like, man, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I can't stand that shit, man. Cultural appropriation and all this. It's like, no, dude. I mean, we're all intermingled at this point. I mean, it's influence. It's not.
Yeah, you got to grab onto everything good and let go of everything bad. That's cultural appropriation's a good thing, I think, if you take all the good shit.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I just, I don't know.
As long as you know the roots of it all, too, that's what
yeah, well, it's like appreciating it, right? Like,
yeah,
appreciating it and appropriating it. It's like a fine line, right? Like,
well, people are scared of things they're not familiar with or that are new to them or, outside the box. That's it. I mean, everybody should do that. I've actually been kind of implementing a little bit of that like hormetic response into my like daily regimen and stuff, like cold showers or stuff like that. It's like, why do I always got to like strive for comfort? You know what I mean?
Right.
There's the yin and the yang, you know what I mean? So I've been kind of like, if it's something that's uncomfortable or it's causes fear or I'm kind of like putting resistance or opposition, it's like, well, just do it. Just power into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, being too comfortable can make you very complacent, right?
Yeah, I'll even fuck with my dog. She'll be laying on the couch all day, and I'll just go up there and like hit the cushions and be like, "You're too fucking comfortable. You're making me uncomfortable. Get up and go outside." But she's, I love her. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of instilled in us too. We look for comfort and everything.
Yes.
And the world's not always comfortable and. Adversity kind of we're seeing now that like, or it may get to a point where it's like survival of the fittest almost, and it gets back down to like a natural thing like that. And I think a certain level of that adversity or becoming resilient or resistant to it's like a Buddhist thing too. I'm big, I delve into those philosophies and theologies and, life is suffering is the main tenet. And it's like, well, if you can learn to embrace the suffering and understand that some balance of that is great, like those things are good. You can't know the good without the bad, those dualities. Then, you can see points in the day where you're like, oh, I'm going to take this suffering right on the chin and smile about it too, like force yourself into a cold shower or, Well,
it's like as a parent, I get the opportunity to set that kind of shit up for my kid, right? So like today, I took her outside to play some soccer, and she was like, I was like, you want to play like a little game, like a little scrimmage? And she was like, yeah. We set up goals, and she's like, Dad, you're gonna lose. You're a loser. And I was like, what? And she was like, I'm gonna beat you so quick, Dad. I'm so fast like a cheetah. And I was like, all right. And she's 5. So we were playing a game to 5 points, and I just smashed like 3-4 points in a row, and she got a cramp, and she had to go lay down in the garage. She's like, oh, I got so tired, I can't breathe. And I was like, yeah, you fucking talk shit. That's what
You
happened.
talk shit. You took the
Like,
you lifted the handicaps when you talk shit.
I was like, you shouldn't have talked shit. And she's like, oh, what do you mean? And I was like, you called me a loser. And she's like, I was just being funny. And I was like, you learned a lesson today. Like, she was done. But you need to hit the wall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't push it too. I don't think it's too important to push it too hard. I'm definitely not like one of those like, some of those people like the CrossFit mentality or something where it's just like push it hard all the time. So I don't think anything like that. But I just think some balance of, it's yin and yang. It goes back to that. You can't always have it good. You got to like show yourself some bad every now and then you appreciate both, and you don't suffer as much whenever you're faced with the negative of the two. They're really the same thing. It's just like my uncle always said this was a wise piece, one of many wise pieces from him, but he said it's like a sliding scale where you got the two radicals on each end, but they're not really different. They just appear to have duality. It's really just the extremes of the same sliding scale. So
it's like anything else, right? It's like being on stage or whatever. You got to just get comfortable with certain shit. Make yourself comfortable in certain positions.
I like that nervousness too sometimes, man, when you haven't played in a while and stuff, and you get a little like flutters, and then you play like 2 or 3 songs and you're like, oh shit, yeah, there we go. Right in it,
Well, it's like a fight, right? If you're too laid back, you're probably gonna get your ass beat. You got to have a little bit of fucking like edge on, you know what I mean? Like, feel that.
Absolutely.
So what are all you boys looking forward to as we come to the close of this, as they figure it out, or as they open the doors and lift the veil on the bullshit? What are you all most looking forward to, like, when things start to eke back into the normal way of living?
Hanging out with all our friends again and playing music.
That's an easy one, right? Fucking.
Same.
Same.
I'd say the same. I was kind of like jonesing for that before all this happened. Trying to do some stuff here and everything, but not really getting to be out and jam with as many people as I wanted to. Andrew, you're one of them.
Yeah, right on.
But 2, I've been missing some nature. I mean, I'll get out in my backyard and stuff like that, but getting out and this is about the time where you can start rafting on the Nantahala in North Carolina. It's like 2.5 hours, like really quick drive. So that's something I like to do. Go up there and raft that and just hike and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we got a shitload of parks out here in Georgia, and they're awesome, and they're all fucking closed right now.
Yeah. Because, I mean, nothing too much has changed. I mean, for me, with this COVID thing, I mean, there's certain procedures and stuff, but I'm kind of a homebody. I got so many things that I'd like to do and learn, and some of that doesn't really, I don't know, there's a lot of distractions out there, so I tend to kind of be at home anyway. So not too much has changed, but I have missed the outdoors and networking with my friends and, like, musicians and stuff that I know. So
sure,
that's definitely the big thing.
Playing, like, I think, like 5 to 7 shows a week.
Right.
This all happened.
So that's like a big haul for you guys. And
fuck yeah, that's like a major hit in the brakes.
Yeah. But it's good writing time, I imagine, too, though.
I've never really played the keys before, and now all of a sudden I know how to play the keys.
That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome, yeah.
Around, I was like, I gotta do something to fill this time. Like,
The Florida and
what's that?
the Florida and the other ones. The Florida Keys and the other keys.
Yeah, Pete with the strong dad joke. As a dad, it's always refreshing to know you're not alone. Fucking, but oh yeah.
Or you could take it off.
Project Mayhem.
Right.
I do think that is some of the problem. We got a bunch of still farts up there, and they've just been
Yeah.
posted up and secure
70-year-old
their
millionaires run
positions,
the
and they're
country,
just
bro.
going to work, just noosed up in their ties all day, stiff, and just ready to make a bunch of money for themselves and fuck a bunch of people over. I mean, it's
I think we all just need to get other people in office,
Absolutely.
And
some younger people too. I mean, like the mentality's got to change at some point. I mean, I don't know. It's just gonna
I just want
not like younger, but like younger than the.
I want people to fix
I was thinking 35 plus. Come on, man. No, it's cool. I hate it too. They call them millennials. I technically fall into it, and I hate it because I see all the problems. I do also see how like the preceding generation likes to bitch about the succeeding one in every case, and they're the ones that sat them in front of a TV and let them become social retards and like technological geniuses, and now they want to bitch about it. So it's kind of yeah. I just don't even like all the labels, man. It just kind of stale.
The problem is there's so many like
about
entrenched career politicians.
what about Bernie? What about Bernie Sanders, man? Would you have been sad if he would have got out of it?
They all suck. There's no good choice. Like every time the past like fucking 12 years, the past several presidential elections have all been like, hey, you can pick. Do you want shit in your eye or shit in your mouth? You get to decide what you would rather have, and you can. It's your world. Oh, you get to pick. You get two choices.
I've definitely
You're
heard
free.
it.
You're free. Two choices. Suck my dick. It's ridiculous. Fucking the whole scheme.
It's
Is
because
a
we have
Well, the thing that happens is crazy is that just because somebody leans more one way or the other and they adopt a party as their thing that they're going to vanguard and put their sticker on then they just blindly jump behind whatever candidate gets accepted.
Yeah.
And no matter how much they didn't like them when they were the nominee and they were kind of wanting the other guy or this or that or maybe another option, then whenever that person gets elected, they just go all in. It's like bandwagon sports fans or something.
Yes.
Is what I've always said. It's like, and then so I watch like some of the political like media and stuff, and I'm like, man, this is like Sports Center. This is just like a bunch of, I mean, I like Sports Center. Don't get me wrong.
No, but it's
Whenever I
it's
got
the
like
same
free
thing.
time to
It's
do
teams.
shit like that, but I'm not. It's not really my stuff all the time. But you know what I'm saying? It's just the way they treat it in this country.
Yeah, it's red team.
It's just
blue
such
team.
it's such a yeah. And is if you go one way or the other, you got to just jump on with that candidate.
Go Pete.
Pete,
Oh, just lift the one side up. What's that?
Yeah, you guys were goading me into a political conversation, and I was like, whoa!
yeah, I didn't know we were going here either.
It's
How's about the weather or the Cubs?
said it because
He seems like a nice grandpa, but listen,
yeah,
how many of those fucking people could you trust to set up their own iPhone, let alone run the fucking country? It blows my mind. There should be Elon Musk.
he seems like he's really been pushing for the right things for a really, really long time. And I get behind people. I believe in people with longevity of doing the same thing over and over again that is perfect. And he
Absolutely.
has been doing things for many years.
That does validate genuinity.
But better.
I think he's genuine, but I think he's too fucking old
to get behind. Not somebody that is doing things just to get monetary movement, because that's really what it's all about. It's all about monetary movement into their pocket. And for me, he doesn't seem like that type of person. And
he ain't living like a monk either.
Barack Obama in a lot of ways. I knew that once everybody kind of told him this is what's going to go, and you just have to follow along with that. He really didn't have a choice to do it. But I believe when he got into office, and that's why I voted for him, is because I believe when he got into office that he changed things. And whether or not he changed them as much as he wanted to, I believe as a person that he was in it for the right reasons.
He broke my heart though. He should have legalized weed from jump.
Well, I also believe in it for the right reasons. And whoever else is on the things, I'm watching all of them too, but those two people have always stuck out to me.
Barack fucking broke my heart because he should have closed Guantanamo
all of these,
and he should have legalized weed from fucking day one.
We've all seen all of these people be in office since we've been alive, right? Well, all of the ones that we've seen, which ones were genuine and you really believe them, and they actually stay genuine throughout that whole cusp. There's only a few. Well, there's a very few, but I think most of them were, but I definitely know that there weren't on a few other occasions. But I think anybody running for the presidency has literally been working for that their whole fucking life, and that's not easy.
I think they're all a bunch of sociopaths.
It's easy. It's a struggle. Well, got into office, and he brought all these people.
That's how the system makes sure that those things don't
Think that
happen. It's like a,
that's the thing about it. But you can't really see his legacy get twisted because he'll never change. But you will always see the outcomes of other people's decisions, and they can all work together to make up their own outcomes, even with the high. I don't know. Tricky. I still, still, I still like him. I still like Barack Obama, and he was in office, and I liked him beforehand. And I don't think my vision would ever be skewed about Bernie. They can do whatever they want, but which seems really weird. Why would hippies elect a Republican?
That is my major knock on Obama. He really signed off on a lot of drone strikes.
Just like Obama, Obama got in there and didn't know that many people either, and just so everybody else was basically pushing him towards things that maybe he didn't want to do, but he had to because just like you said, there's like 20.
Was it Bill Hicks? I was gonna say, was it Bill Hicks who had that fucking bit where it's like you become president and they take you into a room and they turn on a projector and it shows you a fucking very interesting new angle of the Kennedy assassination, and then they turn that shit off and they're like, any questions? Okay, here's your fucking bro. Like, I feel like that's definitely what's up. That's gotta be. There's no question about it. There's so many organizations that have their tentacles in the bloated corpse of the government. That's what it is. It's a dead thing. We're all on our own. We're on our own, people. We're out here on our own trying to make it happen. Fucking that's once we realize that, the better off we'll be.
Rise Up. There's a song called Rise Up. It's pretty dope. Who's that? What are you talking about?
I can't say that I've heard the Filipino girl rise up.
I'll tell you who's not the best Filipino singer, Manny Pacquiao. He's like, I want to sing Elvis song.
We should try to jam. We should try to jam and have Andrew sing. And can you jam with us too, dude? Is that a thing? Can we? Is that? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah.
You think? No, I don't actually. I didn't realize it was going to be like that.
We can try. I can get my cajon in here and put the mic up to it.
He's got a
Work. Is it still been doing that? Damn, I got it like all the way off too.
maybe.
What about now?
No, shut up.
On my end as well, when somebody's talking, it fucking covers
Oh,
everything
gotcha.
else up. But
I got this USB mic. It's probably just like direct.
Now, I do have a question as well for everybody. What have you guys been doing to keep yourselves sane and fucking not snapping at family and shit like that? Have you been adhering to quarantine? Are you out creeping the streets? Like, what have you guys been doing?
We've been chilling. We got a really big family, dude. We have 5 kids here, so we've just been. That's why I built this stage in my backyard, actually.
Right.
We're hanging at home, dude. Like, it's just to be safe and not to put anybody. We have a couple of immunocompromised family members here, so we're here with them every day.
Right on.
Nice.
Yeah, that's our people.
I actually do as well. My girlfriend's celiac, so it's not, I guess, as serious, but still she can, can't be exposed to anything like that, or her body can't take it. So yeah, right. Well, I've pretty much just been, like I said before, kind of hanging at home. It's actually been nice to get a breath of fresh air from work and everything. I mean, I'm able to work from home, so I guess I'm blessed in that sense as far as income and having remote capabilities and all that. But it's also been nice to have the time, not commuting and all that kind of stuff, to where, I could be at home, I could tend to my things, you know what I'm saying? Like, go outside for a minute, play with my dog, write some songs, like mess around, do whatever. Got a kettlebell routine that I've been doing some kettlebell training for the past probably like 2 months.
What is that exactly?
Different stuff. What's that?
Kettlebells? Yeah, they're like a big.
It's like a cannonball with a hand. Yeah. It's like exercise equipment. Just a lot of different stuff.
Some Joe Rogan shit.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, it's an Onnit set that I got. It's actually pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah. The Russians actually popularized them initially.
It's actually really nice, man, for like stabilization. My girlfriend's a yoga instructor. We do some yoga as well. A lot of yin and yang flow stuff. But I've tried to incorporate some of those balance poses with the kettlebell and like flowing through them slowly while you're controlling the breath. And it's actually pretty nice if you just use like low weight and stuff. And it's working like stabilizer stuff that are really functional things, but things you wouldn't typically get in like a static barbell training that's like your typical workout regiment in Western world. So it is pretty cool.
I've been working out a bunch too, but I've been eating a fucking bunch, man. It's been
I've been meaning, dude, as soon as this thing's over, I want to get over there and train with you a little bit too. I like the little setup you got over there.
Yeah, man, the gym is
show me some stuff.
The gym is legit. The gym is legit. Fucking, I got a nice little gym in the basement. Weights, heavy bag, fucking speed bag, reflex bag, treadmill, and we're getting a Peloton bike. That's coming too. So like,
been hearing the hype about these things.
My wife wanted it. She got it. I could give a shit. I'll sit on it. She said it's got a screen on it. I could sit and like ride a bike and look at a forest or some shit. So I'll do that.
Post up, yeah.
Yeah. And I use that bitch every day.
Dude, I'm down to try. I gotta start doing more cardio though. That's my main issue. I've been lifting weights more than anything else. I want my joints to be okay when I'm old.
So that's like the workout now instead of me actually working out, which I like going to the gym. But these kids are teenagers and they chase you in the pool and like almost bully you. He's 13 and he kicks my ass in the pool. But it's a workout, and it's
that's funny.
Fun. And yeah, all of my kids have now learned how to swim, even if it's just with floaties. I have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old who swim with us every day for like an hour and a half. And
that's cool.
They kill it with the floaties.
That's good.
That's for gigging regularly too. If you don't have or if you do have a crew, but if you don't, sometimes you're having to do your own load in and stuff. Man, that stuff gets exhausting. I know I've always had to do that or help set up lights and everything. Man, you'll get exhausted before a show.
Yeah, right.
And then after show, you gotta, 3 or 4 in the morning, or earlier, whatever.
Drummers have it the fucking worst.
Gigging regularly too. Yeah.
People can attest to that many nights. Damn drummers.
Well, yeah, just staying fit in general. Like as far as incorporating some exercise. I've been trying to read some books. I'm not like as much of a TV person. I've I mean, there's some things I need to catch up on the Tiger shit, man. I know that y'all asked me last time. I didn't have any input on this because like
Bro,
I don't really watch that much TV. When I do, it's like stand-ups that I like or
right.
stuff like that, documentaries. But I've
The
been reading
Tiger
some books
King,
in
bro.
the downtime and some pretty good stuff. A couple Sam Harris books, Aubrey Marcus book, which was really good. And then I just read one. I can't remember the author, but it was called Now Is the Way. And actually, it was interesting because I listened on Audible. I listened to Aubrey Marcus's book Own the Day, which is a great book, by the way.
Hmm.
And then like just in related, I looked to see if he had any more books, and he had done like the foreword or preface to this book, and the book was called Now Is the Way. Can't remember the author.
Hmm.
But I had literally just written a song on my acoustic and like written out, or like started recording some tracks, separating out some parts. And that was like almost like one word away basically from the hook line in the song that I just written. And it was the whole premise of what I had written the song about.
Right on.
So when I started looking at this book and I started reading the back page and everything, I was like, well, I gotta fucking read this. So I just finished it actually last night. It was really good. So those are
That's
good book
dope.
suggestions if you want to tag them or like if anybody's looking for something.
Right, to captivate themselves with.
The Sam Harris book. Go ahead. I do, and I want to read some more of his stuff. I read, what was that? It's the one about spirituality, basically, about not having to be religious but being spiritual. Yeah, it was very good. I thought it was very good. But honestly, the one that, most people's attention span are short. There was one that I listened to it on audiobook like I was cooking. It was an hour and 15 minutes long. It was called Lying, simple title by Sam Harris. Very good book, man, about not being pretentious in any kind of way, not being rude or being an asshole, but like even the little white lies we tell and like their rippling effects and how being a genuine person in nature, no matter how, um, I don't know, it's a very good book. I would say like a good
Well, that goes.
suggestion. Honestly, I like his articulation and the fact that those audible books were he did the narration was that much more to me. Like I feel like he puts it in a way that I like. The wording is so witty and I love the articulation.
Because he's a bit matter of fact.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson gets the same
But
thing,
the
I feel
fact that
like.
he is like he's like a neuro chemist, I believe is his title, is like he's got the validity and he very much so goes through. I think he goes through a very articulate scientific process of explaining things to where it's almost like undebatable in some, or it feels that way, or most people who are kind of shallow minded are not going to even enter into debate with that because there's just too much.
It's interesting how stuff like that has become divisive nowadays, whereas it wouldn't. Those kind of like mentalities and conversations wouldn't have been controversial. You know what I mean? A very short while ago. It's just very interesting how things have, and now they seem to become less controversial again. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hmm.
gone down a lot, and the things that people are fighting over are like you said, was like the validity of articles are
Right.
scared about the virus, which is actually that's good. I want like healthy debate on what's accurate, like what's accurate
Yeah.
information. Debate and yell and fight over what's accurate, as
Yeah.
opposed
Discourse about the validity of something is very important.
yeah, as opposed to like and there's like you get like the one or two people that are still like fuck Trump or this is Obama's fault, like, and then you just shut those like two people out, and then the rest
Yeah.
of you like have a regular conversation. Like
We let people who are going to be ideologues marginalize themselves, basically.
The thing about it is, it's
we were
like,
talking about last time, right? With like or the time with Patrick and Marlon.
And Marlon, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You let the people with the crazy ideas marginalize themselves
Yeah.
because
Let them start putting the marbles up their ass.
yeah, if you give them any ground to stand on by harassing them physically, like then you're literally like you're giving them a chance to make themselves a martyr for weak-minded people in similar situations.
Yeah.
Let people whatever. Pete's yelling about stuff and throwing
Yeah.
stuff.
Did we lose audio?
No.
You there, Pete?
No, oh, I'm still here. I was just laughing individually at some of the
is my
marbles
mic
and
better
ass
too? I just
comment
found
shit.
it.
You know,
Better, it's not going over.
Well, I was going through an aggregate device, so I kind of like minimized what, to see what was going on here. Just let me know if it starts peaking again.
I kind of
Sounds good to me.
I got a handle on my side a little bit here too.
Well, I found this like but it's bypassed on the microphone. Literally, the gain is like off.
So the other question that I've been asking everybody that we talk to is like, what does everybody think the changes that we're going to see going forward, playing shows, you know what I mean, bars, clubs, what's it going to be like? Are people going to be, nervous to come out initially, that kind of thing? Like, what do you guys think,
I think it will resume to like moderately the same-ish. I mean, it'll come back. It'll rebound.
It's gonna be crazy when everybody can go out at first. It's like it's gonna be
There'll
like
be a big boom at first. Yeah, I feel like that's probably true too.
Extra, yeah, there'll be extra security at the venues. People will be extremely ready for the entertainment.
Yes.
I think occupancy loads, stuff like that, might be minimized too, or at least I've heard some that restaurants and stuff like that, public places, are going to be leaning more towards that because the mentality leading up to it is like pack as many people in as let's get another table right here.
Right.
the fire marshal's actually gonna have to go out and do their job.
Yeah, right.
I'm really hoping it's like that. I'm really hoping because it was really fun when they stopped. So our last show was really fucking rad. So hopefully our first show is really fucking rad too.
Right.
Have
Right
you
on.
considered booking shows up in northern Florida because they're pretty much open now?
Yeah, I used to play in Pensacola as a resident entertainer in Pensacola and Navarre and Destin, and I love it up there. It's really fun up there too. The thing is, down here, it's just I don't know. It's a new ground for me. Everywhere else, I've done a lot, and here I haven't really explored, and I really want to go even further too, like
Okay.
Costa Rica, Argentina, Brazil, like
Right.
Yeah.
like Jamaica, everywhere. I really wanted to start going world instead of just the United States, because the U.S. is dope. Don't get me wrong, it's dope, but there's so much more to see in this world, and I really want to do it before I'm not able to. And I think we all have that ability and opportunity, and I want to try to do that. Because
That's a big part of this, right? That's a big part of doing what we do, chasing this.
like 3 years ago, we toured to Mexico, and it was fucking amazing. We went from Michigan to Mexico and all the way back, and it was yeah, like 20 shows. It was just me and him and 2 more bandmates.
Nice.
And that was cool. But going to different parts of the world, other than like just driving, like flying to a whole different part of the world that has a whole different, like, I don't know,
Right on.
Mexico's actually pretty much the same, like, as flying. Once you get to Mexico, it's a whole different world, man. Well, you guys know you're from a different country, right? Like,
Which one? Who?
Neither of us. I ain't
Andrew.
from-
Mike's a Filipino from California.
I'm
That's
from
kind of a different
California.
country. And I'm a
Oh,
Cuban
right.
from Miami, so it's kind of a different country too.
that's right.
Fucking Michigan's more of a different country than fucking.
No, I thought your mom was from a different country.
My pop's from Cuba. My mom's from
Cuba,
Italy.
that's what I was going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Miami
My dad's German.
creation.
I would love to go to Cuba. I'd love to go to Germany. I would love to see all of the places.
I think that's what I was saying. That's a big part of this thing. Like we have the opportunity to like let music take us places, and that's like pretty fucking exciting. You know what I mean?
I know, man. Like, I want to go to Italy right now and then come back and do like a every state tour.
Italy would be dope. Maybe not right now.
Right now. No, I want to do it right now. And then, well, as soon as I get back,
Mike wants to go to China and then come back and open a kissing booth.
yeah, man, I want to go to Italy, then I want to go to Wuhan, and then I want to come right back and start in California.
Here's my
Just
question
play
though:
every major city in California.
is Wuhan comparable to Wu-Tang? Like, is that a clan? Are they like legit? Is there a legit crew coming out of Wuhan?
I've been there like twice, man.
They aren't anything to fuck with.
That's true. You don't want to fuck with Wuhan.
No.
They bring the ruckus for sure.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing I don't buy about the whole bat origin thing.
Oh, yeah.
Chinese have been eating everything for 5,000 years, man. There's like an old proverb that says like if its back faces heaven, you can eat it. So like
that's not a good reason why. No, that doesn't.
I'm just saying that hasn't happened yet.
Doesn't it happens all the time in China. It's just usually locally contained.
There you go.
Well, I have seen videos of like their street markets and stuff, and they're like skinning snakes on the street.
Dude, you have no idea. I've been there twice, man.
Man, if I go to China, first thing I'm doing is getting a scorpion on a stick with fucking hoisin sauce on that bitch.
Yeah, they'll put some yum yum sauce on that shit.
You don't even need to go deep into China to get that. That's just like.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Hong Kong.
I heard scorpion tastes like shellfish.
I don't know. I've never had it.
We're gonna find out on Tom Eats It this Friday because that's one of his options of some.
I heard
shit to eat.
shellfish tastes like scorpion.
Is that a segment of this?
No, this Friday we're having another podcast called Tom Eats It, where my best friend Tommy Donuts is going to just eat horrible things about a couple times a month. So
nice.
We've got Carolina Reapers, we've got clam flavored candy canes, we've got the Devil's Toe, which is the spiciest candy on the market. We've got mealworms and scorpions and all kind of shit to make him eat. So it should be fun. Yeah, and Tom's just one of those dudes where you put it in front of him, he'll be like, all right, I'll do it. Tom has a tradition that he himself created of drinking a half a gallon of eggnog under a minute every Christmas. So if you go into my Facebook and my videos on my page and go all the way to the first couple of videos I ever posted, one of those is my best friend Tom hammering a half a gallon of eggnog in like less than a minute. I mean, it's got to be like the whole video is like 2 minutes and half of it's me talking shit. Like, he's an amazing, weird fucking specimen. Fucking, so yeah, we're gonna give him a show on our little network here of him eating horrible things. But yeah, Tom's an amazing. He ate a bag of dried Carolina Reapers, and basically nothing happened. He's like, I had a spicy butthole, but that was it.
So yeah, it's been an interesting COVID.
An interesting COVID.
I got the COVID on me.
I got to COVID.
The thing that kind of blows my mind is like every day in my my little cul-de-sac that I live in, I see like 2 FedEx trucks. Amazon comes to my house like every other fucking day. Like, how are we containing it? But everybody's still like ordering shit to their house. Like that's what I'm. I ordered a sweater the other day. I'm pretty sure that bitch came straight from China.
Lysol. Lysol.
Just hosing shit down with hoses of Lysol.
Pretty much, dude. You should see my procedure when I get in from the grocery store.
I don't have no procedure. I just unload
Everything
the groceries
gets put
and
on
I
the
eat them.
table. The bags come off, go immediately in the garbage, and then it gets wiped down as it moves to the next counter.
I wish I had some masks with me. I want to show you how I wear my masks out.
Oh, dude, I got a fucking mask. My girlfriend's grandma is like ex-costume designer. She made some bad.
Like,
I ate sushi in Publix last time I was there. I ate it right
Sub-Zero.
out in my cart. I didn't give a fuck.
Dude, I wear my masks like a yarmulke. And just right over here and attach it to my ears. And they're like, you have to wear a mask in here, sir. And I'm like, and I just walk right in, and they're like, okay.
I've seen more people not wearing masks in a couple places that I've gone. And
I don't see too many masks.
They're looking at us
correctly. So people are like, well, he is wearing a mask. And then, like, my son is just playing with his mask like this, just, like, snapping it on his face and breaking it. And then he's like, uh-oh. And I'm like, yeah, we don't care, man. Like, if you're, that's what I don't understand. Like, if you have people that have, like, immune
That's a different animal, yeah.
Yeah, compromised immune system. Like, yeah, that's cool. I understand. Like, you're taking proper procedures. That's correct. But, like, if you don't have, like, anything wrong with you and, like, everybody in your house is good, why are you dressed head to toe in a trash bag? You know?
Some people are just having fun with it too, bro. Come on.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
hey, any chance I get to wear this mask and feel like Sub-Zero walking through?
yeah, I got a couple of dope masks.
Dude, I got this close-up
I gotta get this
of
thing
a
done,
ball
man.
sack.
I saw the skin picture. Yeah, it's the ball
It's
skin
ball
picture.
sack skin. And I'm gonna get it printed on cloth so I can turn that into a mask.
That's
And then
hilarious.
I'm gonna make it myself.
Here's the
extra
question: Is it
wrinkly.
your sack?
No, I've got the link from Google. It's a standard exam.
standard ball sack.
No, it's the close-up, standard exam close-up picture of a ball sack.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but I want to make like one of those, but I want to make it like ball sack skin. That's what I'm.
Like have a dangle, like a rooster.
Well, I'm gonna make it all wrinkly, like do some like sewing tricks where like it makes fake
This is like
wrinkles.
a pop filter at the source.
Yeah.
No closer. Look at that.
Are we gonna have our special guest do some music?
I see these guys
Oh, yeah.
tune up. Yeah, you know what, man? Why don't you guys fucking play us out tonight? We had a good time fucking hanging and talking. I think we talked about as much shit as the people this stoned are gonna get out properly.
Everybody's
Fucking.
Also, everybody's watching the propaganda stream right now. There's like 600 people watching that. Like,
Oh wow.
yeah.
There's a propaganda stream going on right now.
Right now, it's just Lyman and Matt.
Right on.
Like, they're getting people on.
I hope they get some donations, my man.
Yeah, they're doing that right now.
Well, shit, kids. It's been a fun chat by the COVID fireside with all you folks. Love you, boys. Can't wait to be actually hanging together, enjoying a fucking big fat joint, and playing some music. Happy 420 from me to you guys.
Happy 420, guys.
I'm gonna mute my mic while they play.
Everybody stay safe and behave. Play us out, boys. Give us some good stuff.
All right.
Oh man, I couldn't even see
Your
the
love gets me so high, like when we're listening to Bob Marley, we can feel it in the melody. Your love gets me so high. When we're listening to Bob Marley, we can feel it in the melody. You got me singing like, oh, 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 oh. Oh, you got me feeling right, oh, 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 yeah. The first time you pulled me in, we were in the backyard listening. Oh, oh, oh. My favorite song on the record spin, yeah. Told me you wanted to stay the night. Sang to us everything will be alright. Whoa, favorite song on the record play, yeah. Your love gets me so high. When we're listening to Bob Marley, we can feel it in the melody. Your love gets me so high. Like when we're listening to Bob Marley, we can feel it in the melody. You got me singing like, oh, 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 oh. Know you got me feeling right, oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Said it's close to perfection. I hear it in your reflection. You're my favorite selection of my record collection. Oh, let it spin so I'll never let you go. I wanna know if you stay with me. Now that I've been stoned, I'll never let you go. Every time I make you stop. Your love is me so, your love is me so, your love gets me so, so. Like when we're listening to Bob Marley, we can feel it in the melody. You got me singing like, oh, 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 oh. You got me feeling right, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, yeah.
Ah, yeah, fuck yeah. It's not going to be a better 420 outro than that, bro. Fuck yeah.
What's up, guys?
Good job, guys.
Beautiful.
Did that sound?
Be good, boys.
Be good, guys. Nice to meet you guys.
Be safe. See
Happy
you
420,
soon.
everybody.
Take care, yo. Bye.